The best job I can do is the more that I know about somebody's situation. So we ask a lot of questions, probably more questions than most people are used to. When if people are interviewing me versus interviewing other advisors, a lot of times they go, well, you ask a lot more questions. Well, that's how we can get to know your situation, because the more I know your situation, the better job that I can do, coming up with solutions. So we try to really, really get to know our clients. We want to know their kids, their grandkids, what's important to them, so we can develop a plan that's going to serve them best. Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics, because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
This is Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman, your certified financial planner professional at Silverman & Associates, serving Tucson and all of southern Arizona. And if you'd like to talk with Mark Silverman, all you got to do is call this number, 520-333-7601, 520-333-7601. Call or text. I'm Ron Stutz. A pleasure to be here with Mark Silverman today, and we're starting up a podcast. And Mark, first of all, it's fun to be with you on the radio show, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be with you on the podcast as well.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to both.
Well, the first thing to do today, why don't we talk about your business a little bit and your attitude about your business, so folks who may not have known much about you in the past may get to know you a little bit. What does being a financial planner or advisor mean to you?
Well, it's a great honor. I mean, I really enjoy, people say that you got to love what you do. I can't imagine doing anything else, to be honest with you. It's fun work. I meet a lot of great people. Everybody's situation's different, so it's not like I'm doing the same thing day in and day out. I'm meeting with different people with different circumstances, different situations. And really what it's about is planning, is getting people's financial house in order. If you think of your financial situation as kind of a puzzle, where you maybe have some income sources, you may have some pensions, you may have your investments, you may have your goals, your dreams, all these different things that need to be put together. And it's putting those pieces together to find out the best way for somebody to accomplish those goals, and find out if they can accomplish them. And if so, what's the best way of doing that? And if they can't, what we need to do now to make sure that you can accomplish all of your goals and objectives. So it's a fun process, and it really gets people engaged and thinking about, whether they're already retired or planning retirement, and what kind of things that they want to do. So it's a fun process that I truly enjoy, and learning people's stories and getting to interact with people in many different ways.
Mark, I've known you long enough to know that you really enjoy helping people, and it sounds like your business never gets boring, not a single day.
It doesn't. The boring stuff is probably the paperwork that's involved, and we have people that help with that. But, as far as, I'm never bored. I'm always up for the challenge, and I like the challenge. That's what keeps your mind sharp and keeps you going, is having people throw different situations at you. Sometimes situations can be similar, where you may relate, what I did with this person is similar to what I might be doing for this person. But, everybody's situation is different, and having different challenges and working through those and coming up with solutions is very, very rewarding.
Never a dull moment at Silverman & Associates. And I'm wondering, how did you get into the business in the first place?
Well, I've always liked the stock market. I always knew that I wanted to be in business for myself, and I always wanted to be able to help people. I'm a local Tucsonan and born and raised here, never left. So taking care of the people in my community was important. And so, I tried some different things in college. And in college, I worked for a brokerage firm as an intern, and, learned about the business and said, this is the business for me. And when I graduated, went right to work for another major wirehouse firm. And that's how I got my start.
What does financial planning look like? Not for you, but what does it look like for your clients?
Well, it's a process. It's a process where they come in with all these different things. It's not just investment management, which, I've said this before, most financial advisors are just focused on, either selling a product, they're more financial salespeople, or, just investment management. That's one piece of the puzzle, the investment management. But there's all these other things, insurances. What kind do I need? Do I need insurance? If so, what kind do I need? What are the different options out there? As far as risk management, understanding what your risk tolerance is, understanding what your level of diversification needs to be, understanding what does your estate plan look like? Where do you want your money to go? What do you want your money to do? Legacy planning. Do you want to be charitable? There's all these different components that comprise a financial plan. It's having somebody that can look at all these different things and work with other professionals, whether you have a CPA, whether you have an estate planning attorney, whether you have an insurance person, working with all these different people and coming together to make sure that we have the best plan possible that's going to help you reach your goals. And if you haven't reached your goals, what do you need to do to get to those goals? And, making sure that you don't run out of money. That's the number one goal that I always hear, is making sure that I'm not a burden on my kids or whatever, making sure we have enough money to do everything that we want to do.
I think of you as being a financial advisor and also a coach. What do you like most about serving that dual role?
It's really about helping my clients and getting to know my clients. The best job I can do is the more that I know about somebody's situation. So we ask a lot of questions, probably more questions than most people are used to. When, if people are interviewing me versus interviewing other advisors, a lot of times they go, well, you ask a lot more questions. Well, that's how we can get to know your situation, because the more I know your situation, the better job that I can do coming up with solutions. So we try to really, really get to know our clients. We want to know their kids, their grandkids, what's important to them, so we can develop a plan that's going to serve them best. And so it's really understanding and listening to the stories and meeting people. I'm a people person, and I'm a pretty social guy. So understanding and getting to know my clients is really what it's all about. And that's what I enjoy the most, is interacting with my clients.
I'm talking with Mark Silverman of Silverman and Associates, and kind of getting to know Mark a little bit here on our podcast. And Mark, tell us one thing about you that you really want people out there to know.
Again, I just talked about, I really enjoy working with my clients. I love what I do. We talk about retirement, which can be a bad word in some people's vocabulary. Not everybody wants to retire. And I'd have to say that I'm probably one of those people. I'm guilty of that. I never see myself walking away from this business. I truly, love the people that I work with. I'm very blessed to have the kind of clients that I do. And so I never see myself fully retiring. That doesn't mean I might not take more days off, but I never see myself completely walking away unless, physically, mentally, I have to. So that's probably one thing is, my retirement plan is continuing to work, which, I'm not a golfer. Some people want to retire so they can play golf or they can travel. I'm not a golfer. I do like to travel at times, but, you can only, in my opinion, only do so much traveling. So, my goal of retirement is not retiring, but everybody's situation is different. So that's what we want to take into account. And I want to explain that to people. Your neighbor may want to retire. You may not. There's no right or wrong. Everybody's situation is unique, and that's okay.
Yeah, there is no one size fits all when it comes to retirement planning. We talked about that a whole lot. And I know that you're from Tucson. You live in Tucson. What is it that you like so much about being in Tucson?
Well, we always have the weather, although, Ron, you probably won't relate to this, but it does get quite hot here in the summertime, which is fine. But, I'm in my car, in my office, et cetera. So we all have air conditioning. So it's not like you're sitting out, in the sun. And if you are, hopefully you have plenty of water. So, you get used to it, born and raised here. So I tell people you learn to deal with it and be smart about it. But I really like the people here. The winters here are amazing. The people here are great. It's still, even though we're growing, it's still a small town. And, all my family's here, and I'm very close with, my parents and my brother and sister and uncles and aunts that are here. So I'm close to my family. It's a great place to raise. I have a daughter. It's a great place to raise my daughter. I think Tucson's a great town. It does lack some things, but I think it has the stuff that most people need. And I truly enjoy living here and working here.
Well, you mentioned a moment ago that, there's only so much traveling you can do, but you do some traveling, and I know, and you like to visit different places. What was the last place that you visited?
Good question. I think it was last month we went to Las Vegas, believe it or not. Went to do some stuff there and, go to, I have a good friend that lives there, and, going to some shows and stuff like that. That's a great place to get away. One place I certainly would not want to live. It's a great place to visit for a weekend, in my opinion, but not a place that I'd want to live. But Las Vegas was the last place I was at.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to live there either, but wow, it is a good place to visit. Now, you've been doing this radio show for a very long time, Saving with Silverman, and I'm just wondering what you would say to the folks out there who may be listening to our podcast today. Why you decided to launch a podcast, and what do you hope people will learn from this show?
Sure. So, why I'm reaching the podcast, because everybody has different ways of listening to things. Some people listen to me on the radio, which is fine. There's other people that can connect different ways, especially with satellite radio that's out there. There's certainly a lot of alternatives that are out there. I can tell you, for one, I'm more, people on the radio probably don't want to hear this, but for one, I listen to mostly podcasts when I'm in the car. And traveling and things like that. I download lots of podcasts on different topics. Some are, health related. Some are, a lot of them are business related, people in our industry that are sharing ideas of what works and how they work with clients. And that's a great way to me to stay kind of current as far as what's out there and different tools, technologies that work with clients. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, pertaining to the financial planning advisory business. And so this is just another medium for some people that are, aren't listening to radio, aren't listening to, satellite radio, whatever it might be. They could be at the gym listening to a podcast or traveling or in their car, whatever it might be. It's another source of another way people can listen to, hear me, share ideas at the time that's convenient for them. Because with a podcast, you can download it and listen to it anytime that you want. And the idea is to just give you some ideas and things to think about. It may not be the answers that you might need, but certainly I'm accessible. That's what I want to make sure people understand. I am accessible. I'm a live person. I'm really here. And I'm available to try to help as many people as I can. With that being said, it doesn't mean you become a client, but I will try to point you in the right direction if you're not a good fit for what we're doing. But I really do want to try to help as many people here in my community as I can. And having the podcast is another source out there to get the information out.
People who listen to the radio show, Saving with Silverman, have a pretty good idea of what we're going to talk about every week. And the folks who are discovering this podcast, explain, if you would, what kind of topics can we expect you to cover on the podcast?
Well, Ron, I'd say generally speaking, it's financial planning. And that could be many different things as we've discussed previously. But, financial planning, obviously retirement planning is a big one. That can mean different things. Some people, again, want to retire. Some people don't want to retire. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But planning for those sorts of life transitions, I would say, whether it be retirement, if there's a death in the family, you come into a windfall of money, maybe you lose a windfall of money, planning for all these different things that can happen. We're going to cover many, many different topics that are all financial planning or investment related. So anything that I think might be helpful, if there's been some changes, tax laws or changes with different things that are out there, laws that change that could affect your financial plan. We want to discuss those and kind of keep you current on that stuff as well.
Who is your ideal listener and eventually an ideal client?
Well, an ideal listener is anybody that I can help, anybody that's listening to this, that I can give you some information that either can help your financial situation or two, get you thinking or maybe even start taking action. Because if you're younger and maybe you've been thinking about investing, but you haven't started, if this prompts you to get started, great. That's really what it's about, is the sooner you start, the better off you're going to be. So anybody that I can help is an ideal listener. As far as an ideal client, there's different factors involved. We help people make better, smarter decisions with their money. So you've got to have money to work with us. We don't work for free. But like I said, if you're not a good fit, I will point you in the right direction to make sure you get the advice that you need. But if you are a good fit, somebody that's going to take my advice, somebody that I enjoy working with, like-minded, et cetera, are the type of clients that I truly enjoy working with. And again, I'm not a fit for everybody, but the only way we know that is by having a conversation.
Well, Mark, this is going to be fun, and I know you're going to reach a lot of other people this way, people who perhaps don't listen to the radio show. And I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me today, and certainly with everybody listening to this, and I'm looking forward to it.
Me as well, and I'm looking forward to anybody. And, Ron, I know you give out the information. If anybody wants to reach out or has specific questions, certainly reach out to us, call, text, email, whatever is most convenient.
And you can call for your complimentary 20-minute introductory call if you'd like to have a conversation with Mark Silverman. And the number to call or text, if you'd prefer to do that, is 520-333-7601. That is 520-333-7601. All you have to do is leave your name and your phone number, and Mark Silverman will get back with you. And pretty soon you can be having a conversation with him, either on the phone or in his office. And Mark Silverman, of course, is your certified financial planner professional, the founder and the managing member of Silverman and Associates. You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman and Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money. All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.